What's up, Net Soldiers? I'm Net Alliance. Welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be tackling a couple different things that will be coming out for like Star Wars' future, because as we all know, there's kind of like this point in time right now where we're kind of like sitting waiting to see what's going to happen next due to the pandemic, and we don't exactly know what is next for Star Wars, and it's almost like even Disney doesn't really know what's next for Star Wars. At one time they kind of planned to have like a movie every single year, but now that's kind of been pushed back a couple years, and now they're focusing mostly on their TV series after the success of not only the newest season of Clone Wars, but also the newest season of The Mandalorian. But before we jump into the more TV show centric part of the video, I kind of wanted to say that if there is one topic in this video you want to skip across, you don't really care about, I'll leave different timestamps on the bar down here as well in the description below. So you can kind of pick and choose. If you don't care about one thing I'm talking about, but you want to hear my other opinions on something else, you can just jump right to that part of the video. So with that said, let me just talk about like the Star Wars video games that we know about. So we know of two. One is the Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker edition, which I already have pre-ordered. In fact, if you want to pre-order yourself, I'll leave links to that in the description below. I think it's like $10 off, so definitely check it out. You might enjoy that. And the second one, and I guess the most divisive one out of the two of those, is the Star Wars Squadrons coming out. And people have been asking me for a couple weeks now, what is my opinion on it? And before I actually say how I feel about Squadrons, I kind of want to talk about like how I feel about newer Star Wars games in general. I'm currently playing through Star Wars Fallen Order. In fact, I stream it maybe like every other week or so. So if you want to subscribe for that reason, come hang out with the whole squad. We have a good time playing that. I think that Fallen Order is actually a very good step in the right direction. But there were kind of some missteps in my opinion. The biggest misstep in my opinion was the Battlefront franchise, the new one. And the reason for that is because I understand that, Battlefront 1, 2015, really didn't do that good of a job. A lot of people were mad at it. I was very mad at it. It promised a lot of stuff and it wasn't what we were looking for. So Battlefront 2 comes along, and for me, I bought it, I played it for a week and said, this is not for me. This is not what I wanted. A lot of other people, though, held in, and apparently it's gotten a lot better and has a massive fan base behind it now, so that's really cool. Actually, one of my YouTube buddies, his name is Aussie Jedi. He's exploded on YouTube now. He's actually one of the only Star Wars Battlefront YouTubers that I know of. So go check him out if you'd like to. He's got good content and he's a good guy. So go check him out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. But for me, I grew up with Battlefront being the old Battlefronts from like 2003 and 2005. Those games were so good back in the day. So when the new Battlefront was announced, I was in my head thinking, oh, okay, we're gonna get the old ones, just newer. What we got was a Battlefield game with a Star Wars skin. And I know that that's what a lot of people wanted, but that's not Battlefront for me. So it always just kind of hindered itself from that reasoning. I wish they would have just called it something else. Maybe just called it like Star Wars, The War of the Galaxy, or Star Wars, Galaxy's War, or something like that. I don't know. Something to just kind of change it up, make it different, because this new Battlefront isn't the Battlefront that I remember. Now with that said, while I do admit that the new Battlefront isn't good for me, I can see why other people might find it entertaining and really enjoy it, so that's okay. Now with that said, we come to the Squadrons part of the video, and for me, I don't really care. I see a lot of people online saying this is going to be amazing, they're super excited. The people who have really been fond of like the older, N64, Fox games, as well as other people who like the flight simulator fighting games like that, that's awesome. This is a great game for you guys. This is gonna blow your mind. It's definitely gonna be really fun. But for me, I don't really care about it. Now here's the thing, just because it's not my thing doesn't mean I can't be happy for other people being happy about it. Like I mentioned, do I feel like Squadrons is going to be good? Yes, I think people who are actually looking forward to this game are going to be pleasantly entertained by it. However, this is not the game that I would really want. But with that said, Fallen Order is definitely more of my type of game, and I have that game to play, so at least I have an alternative. So it's not like they're just saying, hey, here is a space fighter game, you have no other games you can play. Because there is Fallen Order to play, and there's even the older Battlefronts if I want to jump into those, or the newer Battlefronts. In the end of the day, there is something for me too. So it's not like people are kind of getting left behind by this. I know that there was like a massive fan base for the old like flight simulator TIE fighter games, and this is the answer to that call. So like I mentioned, while it's not exactly exciting for me, I think it looks kind of boring. Here's the thing, for you, you might find it amazing, so that's good, and I'm happy for you, but I will be skipping that game. Okay, so with the video game stuff out of the way, let's talk about the TV series coming out. So I called it. I called it back on the very last episode of the Bad Batch arc. We were going to get a Bad Batch TV series. It seemed like they were kind of doing like a soft pilot with that arc, and I had a feeling they were going to do that, and they did. So I called it. I'm the man. You can send all your cash rewards to my account, and I will accept them willingly. Okay, so while I did call it, I actually was like 80% sure they were going to do that. Clone Wars Season 7 wasn't like the final nail in the coffin. I mean, it was the conclusion to the Clone Wars TV series, but I knew that there was something else they were testing out. They wouldn't bring back the show for one final season unless they had other plans for the future. So we're getting a Bad Batch TV show. I'm super excited about it. I guess it's gonna probably take place during the Rebels era, right? So maybe they'll cross paths with maybe a younger Hera, younger Kanan. It also comes to question, do these clones have inhibitor chips in their heads? I'm going to guess they don't, because they were kind of like messed up clones. So they didn't actually put the inhibitors in them, or the inhibitor chips just didn't work, or they took them out or something like that, because they're just kind of weren't expected to live anyways. I don't exactly know how that's going to be included. I'm sure they're going to state that because you kind of have to for them. But yeah, I'm ready to see what's going to happen next, because they are a solid squad. I had a fun time watching them in the Bad Batch arc. I do think that the Sisters arc was weak, but the Bad Batch arc was pretty good. And of course, the Mandalore arc was amazing. But I had a fun time with the squad, and I'd like to see more of them. So I'm glad that Clone Wars Season 7 was successful enough, which it was going to be successful anyways, that we get into Bad Batch. Are they going to join up with the Empire? Are they going to join up with the Rebels? What is going to be the situation there? So that's my thoughts on the Bad Batch TV series. I think it is a step in the right direction. Disney has really done a lot of course correction since it first acquired Star Wars back in the day. At first, they really thought that everyone hated the prequels, so they focused mostly on not prequel stuff. And they got a pretty big backlash off of it, so now we're seeing a lot more prequel things, and that's good. It's time to accept the fact that the prequels, whether you like them or not, they have their merits. There are things about them that are really good, and it's time to actually show that. So I'm giving Disney a thumbs up for this, so keep it up. So with the Bad Batch out of the way, let's talk about the other big announcement, and this one is Anakin is going to probably be returning for the Kenobi series. Now, a lot of people are wondering how are they going to bring him back, because he can't necessarily be a Force ghost because, you know, Vader is still alive during the time of this show. But there are flashbacks. There are things they can kind of do with the past, and I would be 100% okay with this. I know a lot of people were kind of mad about not wanting Anakin to come back because it kind of ruins the character or whatever, but for me, I think it would be really cool to be able to see Kenobi be able to do a flashback, and we could see him even talking to Yoda. We could see him even talking to Mace. Maybe he's just cleaning up his hut and he finds something that reminds him of Anakin. He goes, oh, I remember when I first saw this with Anakin. And then from there we would jump into a flashback where we could actually see Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, Anakin Obi-Wan, just kind of, you know, being Anakin Obi-Wan. I also think that there's this stigma that people don't actually think that Obi-Wan and Anakin were close. You know, especially if you only watch the movies. If you watch the Clone Wars, you know that to be false. But if you only watch the movies, there is this element that, like, Obi-Wan says, oh, we were good friends, but there's never really a sign of them being good friends besides the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. So I think the show could kind of be an answer to that criticism as well, because, you know, at the end of the day, cartoons are cartoons. Some fans are going to be like, I'm not going to watch the Clone Wars because it's a cartoon. Regardless of how good it is, they're not going to watch it. But they will watch a live-action Kenobi series. And I think that might be a good way to not really fix the issues of the prequels, but just kind of add on to things and make things kind of make more sense. So I guess I can understand the criticism of it, the idea that people don't want to see Anakin come back, not necessarily because Hayden Christensen isn't their favorite actor or they didn't like him or anything like that, but it's because it kind of messes with the whole inclusion of the fact that Anakin is not dead, because Anakin is Vader at this point in the storyline. So I'm okay if they want to do flashbacks. If they're going to have like a Force Ghost Anakin reaching out to Obi-Wan, that might be a little weird. But like I said, I would be 100% okay if they wanted to do live action Clone Wars flashbacks. Like, that'd be amazing. So if this new series is going to have episodes that's going to take Ewan McGregor / Obi-Wan back in time, the Clone Wars, where we can actually see live action battles, maybe even experience certain events that we saw in the Clone Wars TV show, but in live action, that'd be pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. So ultimately it comes down to how they're going to use Anakin. If they're going to use him right, like in a flashback, 100% okay. But if they're going to kind of do like a Force Ghost type situation, then I think they should rethink their situation. So with those two shows covered, let's talk about the biggest thing coming out more recently as far as Star Wars goes, and that is Mandalorian Season 2. There have been rumors, and I wouldn't really say rumors, more of like confirmed rumors, because they're not technically confirmed, but they are confirmed, so I guess it's just kind of how you want to perceive it. But both Ahsoka and Boba Fett have been allegedly confirmed for Season 2 of The Mandalorian. And people have been asking me this for weeks, because this is actually news that has been established a long time ago, but they've been asking for my opinion for a while. I just kind of was like, I'm not going to really say anything, but I decided, let's talk about it. How do I feel about it? I am 100% okay with it if it's done right. I knew Boba Fett was going to show up. The random feat we saw on Tatooine, I think it was like episode 5 or 6 of The Mandalorian. I don't actually remember which episode it was, but those feet were definitely Boba Fett's. I don't really think you can argue against it. I mean, I guess you could, but I was almost certain as soon as I saw this feat, I was like, that's Boba, definitely. I would like to see Boba and Mando maybe fight, maybe team up. I do think that there's going to be some type of conflict between them, but I do think that at some point they are going to probably team up and work together to do something. I don't exactly know how it's going to happen. I could be completely wrong. It could not have been Boba Fett, but I'm almost certain it was Boba Fett. Now the thing is, while I knew that Boba Fett was going to show up in The Mandalorian at some point, Ahsoka Tano, I was not expecting at all. I mean, think about it. Last time we saw Ahsoka in canon was in Rebels, and then we hear her speak to Rey in episode 9 of Star Wars. So the question is, at some point she does pass away. So is the Mandalorian going to show her death? Is she going to die possibly by Boba Fett? You know, that would be pretty crazy. So for me, I feel that in the end of the day, both Boba Fett and Ahsoka could be done right if they are done right. You know what I mean? I can see why people are mad about these, but for me, I'm 100% okay with both of them showing up as long as they're done right. So that's just me. So now I'm gonna pass the questions out to you guys. Are you excited for the video games? Are you excited for the TV shows? What do you think is going to happen with the whole Anakin situation? Do you think he'll return? Do you think he won't return? How do you think they're going to bring him back into the series if they do bring him back? When it comes to Boba Fett and Ahsoka, how do you guys feel about having them in The Mandalorian? Do you think that Ahsoka is going to die? Do you think that Boba Fett is going to die too? Do you think he's going to team up with the Mandalorian? Do you think that Ahsoka is going to team up with him? Let me know. Comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like more from me, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn notifications. That notification bell is very important for my channel, so please make sure to hit that. And thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later. Peace.